It's February 9th, 2026. Inside a sterile surgical theater, a lead surgeon prepares for a routine excision. Above the table, a high-definition monitor displays the patient's internal anatomy in real time. This is the promise of modern medicine: surgical, artificial intelligence. A digital bounding box flickers across the screen, searching for pathology with sub-millimeter precision. Suddenly, the green box locks onto a pulsing, healthy organ. A text overlay appears on the user interface. Malignant tissue, confirm for resection. The surgeon pauses. To the human eye, the organ is perfectly normal. To the algorithm, it's a target. This is a botched surgery in the making. A Reuters investigative report has just revealed that these misidentified body parts are no longer isolated incidents. Sophisticated computer vision models are fundamentally failing to recognize basic biological variation. It follows a chaotic winter of infrastructure instability across the United States. Alaska Airlines recently recorded its third IT failure in a single quarter. South Dakota's state government was paralyzed for 2 days by nothing more than mislabeled wires. In Waterbury, the water system stayed dark for 6 days after a total software collapse. We are handing the keys of our most critical systems over to automated assistants. But as the digital layer begins to hallucinate, the physical world is paying the price. If an AI cannot distinguish a vital artery from non-critical tissue, why is it being given a seat at the table? This isn't just a hospital glitch. It is part of a cascading series of multi-day utility outages and systemic software collapses. By late 2025, the cracks were already showing in the most basic American services. On October 29, 2025, Alaska Airlines recorded its third IT failure in 3 months. A global Microsoft outage had grounded fleets and left terminals dark. Travelers watched as gate monitors flickered into blue error screens. 2 days later, on October 31st, the state government of South Dakota went offline. The cause wasn't a sophisticated cyber attack or a foreign breach. According to state officials, the paralysis was caused by mislabeled wires. In a server room filled with millions of dollars of hardware, the breakdown was physical. Handwritten tags on tangled cables had been mismatched. Then, on December 19th, the city of Waterbury, Connecticut announced emergency repairs. Their water system had suffered a total 6-day outage. The digital management layer had simply stopped communicating with the physical infrastructure of the water main. In San Francisco, the Board of Supervisors was so fed up with power failures, they moved to acquire private utility assets. On January 7th, 2026, they began the process of seizing PG&E equipment. They were attempting to build a public power system from the wreckage of the private grid. Everywhere you looked, a recurring technological instability was making life unpredictable. The digital labels were no longer matching the physical reality they were supposed to manage. But while a grounded flight is an inconvenience, and a dry tap is a crisis, in the operating room, the stakes are not logistical, they are anatomical. February 9th, 2026. The Reuters investigative report lands like a clinical autopsy of a failed promise. The headline is blunt. As AI enters the operating room, reports arise of botched surgeries and misidentified body parts. This isn't a speculative warning about the future or a science fiction scenario. It is a catalog of active, live procedure failures documented across multiple medical facilities. The report reveals that surgical AI systems are fundamentally failing to recognize biological variation. Human bodies do not always look like the training data. In one documented instance, a computer vision model locks onto a vital artery. The high-definition monitor displays a jittery green bounding box. Next to it, a single word: pathology. In another hospital, the software misidentifies a healthy organ as a malignant mass to be excised. These are misidentified body parts occurring in real time under the glare of surgical lights. The diagnostic logs show the machine struggling with the physical messiness of the human interior. It is the same recurring technological instability that grounded Alaska Airlines flights. It is the same logic as the mislabeled wires that paralyzed South Dakota's state servers. A total disconnect between the digital label and the physical object it claims to represent. Except here, the IT failure isn't a dark monitor or a delayed flight at a gate terminal. It is a botched surgery. The Reuters investigation exposes that the precision of medical automation is often a software hallucination. The algorithm is being given a seat at the operating table, but it cannot tell a vital organ from a threat. The response from hospital administrators is immediate and defensive. Internal misidentification reports are suddenly being audited by massive legal teams. The liability of a botched surgery is no longer a theoretical risk for insurance providers. It is a moment of institutional retreat. In San Francisco, the Board of Supervisors continues its move to acquire private utility assets. They are voting in dimly lit rooms to create a public power system. They are trying to escape the recurring technological instability of a mismanaged private grid. They no longer trust the private automation to stay online when the city needs it most. In Waterbury, Connecticut, the city announces emergency repairs to its failing water system infrastructure. Their 6-day water system outage has forced a return to manual oversight and physical inspections. The digital management layer is being stripped away to reveal the pipes beneath. South Dakota officials are still explaining the 2-day outage that paralyzed their state servers. The investigation confirms it was nothing more than mislabeled wires in a basement rack. Alaska Airlines is hit by its third failure in 3 months, citing the global Microsoft outage. The recurring theme is a loss of trust in the systems that were supposed to be fail-safe. The Microsoft outage is now the catalyst for a sweeping federal inquiry into critical transport. Across the country, the rollout of surgical AI systems is quietly being paused by medical boards. The software is being archived as a liability rather than a tool for precision. The bounding boxes are being turned off. The automated assistants are losing their seat at the operating table. In surgical wings across the country, the high-definition monitors are being recalibrated. The green bounding boxes are quietly being removed from the surgical UI. In Waterbury, the emergency repairs to the water infrastructure are now being guided by physical blueprints. In South Dakota, IT staff are retagging mislabeled wires by hand, one cable at a time. The global Microsoft outage has left behind a trail of archived software and pending legal audits. San Francisco officials continue their push to create a public power system from the wreckage of the private grid. The retreat from automation is slow, but it is visible in every utility office and server room. Back in the operating theater, the lead surgeon looks at his display. The algorithm is still hovering over a healthy organ, tagging it for resection. The green box is pulsing, insistent that the healthy tissue is a malignancy. The surgeon doesn't wait for the next software update or a diagnostic patch. He reaches up and presses a physical plastic button on the side of the monitor. The digital layer flickers and dies. The bounding box is gone. The text overlay, malignant tissue, vanishes into a black screen for a fraction of a second. What's left is a raw camera feed of the human body. It is messy, unaugmented, and exactly